Elorhor, a 14-year-old, believed she suffered from achromatopsia, seeing the world only in black and white. But deep down she knew the truth. It wasn't her eyes but her mother, the woman she called her prison warden, who drained the color from her life. Her mother's punishments were relentless. Elorhor endured beatings for the silliest things, went hungry while chores piled up endlessly, and lived in a home where warmth was absent. She called her house a prison, her room a cell, and the rarely used living room a visiting area. Even school felt like a social work program, another place of discipline and scrutiny. Elorhor remembered the moment she first discovered her achromatopsia. She was 6 years old and the air smelled of Christmas. The neighbors' homes were filled with laughter, roast chicken, goat, and turkey. Their children showed off beautiful clothes and lovely smiles. Her small chest ached with jealousy. She turned to her mother. "Mummy, can you buy me Christmas clothes too?" she asked, her voice trembling. Her mother looked down, her expression hard. Parents buy clothes to hide their children's flaws. With you, no matter how pretty the dress, your ugliness will ruin it. Nothing can change that. Elorhor stood frozen. Tears flowed down her cheeks. The weight of her mother's words echoed in her memory. From that day, she believed she saw life in black and white, imprisoned by her mother's harshness. Elorhor's Monday routine was always the same. Her mom leaving for work and she left alone to manage the house, do the dishes, and run errands. But this Saturday, her chores piled up, and hunger pangs attacked her stomach. The dishes were still not done, so she served herself a small portion of food. She barely took a spoonful when her mom walked in. Her mom noticed the undone dishes in the kitchen and marched toward the visiting area where Elorhor was eating. A spatula clenched in her hand, aimed straight for Elorhor's head. Reflexively, Elorhor dodged and made a dash for the door, but her mother pounced, hitting her again and again. The blows rained down like an unforgiving storm, each strike heavier than the last. Elorhor screamed for help, but no one came. The neighbors minded their own business, and even if they intervened, her mother wouldn't stop. Beneath her mother's fury, Elorhor felt herself weakening. She knew she had to escape or risk being seriously hurt. Summoning every ounce of strength, she pushed against her mother's grip and broke free. She ran, fast and desperate, until she was far from the house. Gasping for breath, she collapsed on top of a septic tank and inspects her body. Scars and bruises marked her arms and back. Tears streamed freely as if they could wash away the scars on her skin. Suddenly, footsteps approach. Panicked, Elorhor wiped her tears and wrapped her arms around herself, trying to hide the scars, but the movement only brings more pain. A girl, her age but well-kept and beautiful, stepped forward. She knelt beside Elorhor and gently asked, "What happened to you?" Hesitant at first, Elorhor finally opened up. The girl took compassion on her and led her home, where her parents fed her, cleaned her wounds, and gave her a safe place to rest. Elorhor and the girl became fast friends, spending most of their time together. Laughter and shared secrets filled their afternoons, and for the first time in a long while, Elorhor felt a lightness in her heart. That evening, she arrived home carrying a ray of hope. The weight of the day seemed lifted. She saw the dishes left undone from earlier and quickly washed them before stepping inside the house. She wasn't expecting any food from her mom that night, and with her chores finished, she ate nothing and went straight to bed, feeling oddly free. Another Saturday arrived. It was noon. Her mother was out, and Elorhor had completed all her chores. The power was out and thick clouds gathered, promising rain. She stepped into her cell to get a torchlight when persistent knocking interrupted her. She wasn't expecting anyone. Curious but cautious, she opened the door and found her mother's father's younger sister, Auntie Meg, standing there. Auntie Meg rarely visited, so Elorhor was surprised. She let her aunt in just as it began to rain, drumming heavily against the roof. The power was restored. Auntie Meg hugged her tightly, and Elorhor winced in pain. "What happened?" Auntie Meg asked, her voice gentle but firm. Elorhor hesitated, refusing to answer. Her aunt insisted, asking her to remove her top so she could see. Reluctantly, Elorhor slipped off her blouse, leaving only her singlet. Scars crisscrossed her shoulders, arms, and back. Auntie Meg's eyes widened in concern. "Does your mum still hurt you?" she asked. Elorhor nodded. Heavy sobs formed in her throat, spilling into tears that flowed down her cheeks. Her aunt pulled her into a comforting embrace. Through tears, Elorhor asked, "Why does she hate me? What did I ever do?" Auntie Meg sighed. "She holds you responsible." "Responsible for what?" Elorhor whispered, fear and determination mixed in her voice. Today she would uncover the truth. Elorhor put her top back on and sat beside her aunt, ready to listen. Auntie Meg began, her voice soft and steady. "Your mother, Doro, was the only child of her parents. They had longed for a child for years, and when she was born they loved her dearly. Bright and disciplined, she excelled in school, topping her classes. She was obedient, kind, and carried herself with grace. Her parents adored her, praising her every success, and the whole community admired the promising young girl. But life was not always fair. When Doro was 15 years of age, a group of boys from the community, driven by envy and malice, attacked and took advantage of her. She became pregnant. Her parents were devastated. Grief, shame, and sorrow weighed heavily on them. They tried to shield her and conceal the pregnancy, but the community found out. Instead of offering support, neighbors mocked her and her family. Whispers followed them wherever they went. "They nourished her well, but look at what she's become," they said. Her father became increasingly depressed. His heart bled as he watched his daughter he cherished suffer under cruel judgment. "Your mother's due date arrived. Doro gave birth to you." The family, after going through all those turmoil, expected relief, but visitors brought no comfort. Instead of consoling, they gossiped, stared, and ridiculed, and the father's grief deepened. That night, after the last visitor left, his heart could not bear the weight anymore. He suffered a fatal heart attack and died, leaving Doro and her mother alone to care for the newborn. Doro struggled to provide for you, balancing grief and survival. One day, while your grandma went out to buy diapers for you, she suffered a car accident and died. From that moment, Doro struggled to care for you alone. She carried the weight of her losses and endured her own pain. She never truly hated you, Elorhor, but frustration, sorrow, and the sense of stolen life were wrongly directed toward you. Elorhor listened, her tears mixed with relief and understanding. The pieces of her pain, the unanswered questions, and the scars now made sense. Her mother's cruelty was never truly about her. It was a reflection of grief, loss, and unhealed trauma. Auntie Meg took Elorhor's hands in hers. "You are not to blame, my child. You are strong and you are loved. Never forget that." Elorhor nodded, tears streaming, but now mingled with hope and clarity. For the first time, she felt a sense of peace and understanding. She knew her life, her choices, and her path forward were hers to shape. The rain finally stopped. Elorhor sat quietly with Auntie Meg, taking in everything she has just learned. She finally understood her mother, her past, and the reasons behind all the pain. The front door opened. Her mother, Doro, stepped in, surprised to see Auntie Meg. Elorhor didn't wait. She ran to her mother and hugged her tightly. At first, Doro stiffened, shocked, but then she wrapped her arms around Elorhor. "I know, Mom," Elorhor says softly. "I know what happened. It's not your fault. I don't blame you. I'm sorry for everything." Doro's tears fell freely. "I never wanted you to suffer," she whispered. "I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry." They held each other for a long moment. Outside, the clouds began to break and the sun came out. For the first time in a long while, Elorhor felt at peace. Everything that was heavy felt lighter now. Finally, mother and daughter were together, and finally, things feel right.